government, and this is a quotation, which shall leave free men to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. This is the sum of good government. Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson knew that big government was the downfall of a free society. As I look out on this crowd on the day we celebrate our independence, I see my fellow citizens who, just like Jefferson, know that big government results in fewer freedoms and increased burdens on the family. You're here today because, like me, you're tired of a government that is working for itself and not necessarily for the people. You're tired of wasteful spending, tired of bailouts, and you're worried about your children's future and grandchildren. Some of you today may have lost a job, some of you may have lost your home, but the one thing you haven't lost is your freedom. And as long as you will take a stand, and we can be one step closer then to holding on to those freedoms, to standing together like we do today, we can make a difference, and at the polls in 2010, we can make a difference. We can commit to pull together and stop some of this insanity in Washington. Stop passing bills that are harmful to our country, and such as capping trade and the possibility of nationalized health care. We need less government and more opportunities to create jobs. We need lower taxes. We need more states' rights. We need less dependence on foreign oil. Let's talk about capping trade just for 1 minute, because it's a very, very dangerous bill. On June the 26th, the House passed the Waxman-Markey bill, better known as cap and trade. Cap and trade is an attempt to decrease carbon emissions. Cap and trade will not be successful in decreasing carbon emissions. However, it will be successful in hurting businesses, killing jobs, shipping more jobs overseas to China and India, and it will be successful in placing heavy burdens on the average Joe. Average Americans like you and me will be paying higher gasoline bills, higher electricity bills, and you may end up with a regulator on your house telling you when you use too much electricity, they're going to turn the air conditioner off, regardless of whether you're willing to pay for it or not. Cap and trade is a very, very harmful bill, and it won't slow down China and India one bit. It won't slow them down at all. Need more proof? Do some reading on the European Union's cap and trade program, which saw an actual rise in carbon emissions from 2005 to 2008. Look at what Spain's pursuit of cap and trade has done. And for every alternative energy program they say creates a job, it kills 2 more jobs. And a national unemployment rate now in Spain of 18%. 18%. Let's talk about national health care or single payer health care or whatever you want to call it. They can say it's not nationalized health care, but that's what it is. An editorial in the Washington Times just this week reported that 80% of Americans, 80%, are satisfied with their personal medical care. And here's something you may not know. According to the same article, a survey conducted by the Kaiser Foundation, USA Today, and ABC News found that a full 70% of the uninsured said they were satisfied with their health care or very satisfied. The article further explains that the term uninsured is misleading. Having no insurance doesn't mean you go without health care. The government Medicaid program effectively covers some of the insured who are dissatisfied. Since Medicaid does not exclude people based on previous existing conditions, many of those effectively covered by Medicaid do not even register until they need a doctor. Many of the others who are uninsured are who? Illegal aliens. Okay? Illegal aliens. Instead of pushing through $1 trillion reform, we should be thinking about revising a program that will simply help the 2.3% of uninsured Americans that are not happy with their health care. 2.3%. If you want a problem, ladies and gentlemen, you turn your health care over to the federal government, you'll see a problem. You'll see a big problem. Let me read you some more. Need more proof? This is what socialized medicine does. Look at our neighbors in Canada. Waiting time for surgery in Canada is 18 months. 13 weeks for an MRI, 6 weeks for a CT scan. Dozens of diagnostic and therapeutic products available for decades in Canada are now unavailable. In many hospitals, even basic equipment are in limited condition or in poor repair. Sick Canadians routinely do what? Cross the border, coming down in the United States, to get their health care because the doctors are available and they do a good job. Canadian Health Medical Association said shortages have led to an unbelievable delay in treatment, especially on diseases like cancer, heart disease, and debilitating bone disease. In Canada and in England, 72% of the people who have a nationalized health care program say it needs to be done away with, it needs to be thrown out. The number in Germany is 78%. That's not what we need to do here in this country. All right, if we continue on this path, then we'll have the same results they have. I believe strongly in more states' rights. And after the Civil War, Lord Acton wrote Robert E. Lee and said, "I saw in states' rights the only availing check on absolutism of the sovereign will. We need to limit government and give the rights back to the people in the states." Most problems are solved where? Closer to the problem, closer to the solution. Local, county, city, state. And there are no constraints on the human mind. It's only constraints we place on ourselves. One last area is personal responsibility. One of the cornerstones of our society is personal responsibility. I have to be responsible, and every citizen should be responsible and accountable for their actions. Each individual in this endeavor has the right to pursue his own happiness, has the right to succeed, the opportunity to succeed, and guess what? The opportunity to fail. You cannot restrict it either way. You have to have the opportunity to succeed and the opportunity to fail. If you fix it in the middle and says everybody's going to succeed somehow, then you don't have any achievers. You don't have anything that's happening. Next is the community should follow through. After the city and the county, and the last group we want taking care of our people is the federal government. Our founding fathers were big believers in the freedoms and accountabilities of each citizen. I want to be clear on this. We must, take care of those who cannot take care of themselves in this country. There's plenty of money in this country to take care of the totally disabled. There's plenty of money in this country to take care of disabled veterans. But there's not plenty of money in this country to take care of able-bodied men and women that should be working and contributing to society. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. And every individual should simply have the freedom to succeed. If you want to be Michael Jordan, the best there is in basketball, be Michael Jordan. You want to be Tiger Woods, be Tiger Woods. If you want to be any other great athlete, try to be that. But you also run the risk of failure. You may fail and get kicked off the team. That's the bottom line. You have to have the freedom to succeed and the freedom to fail. I want to touch real briefly on our 56 signers of the original Declaration of Independence. This is what happened to those 56 people. 5 signers were captured and tortured as traitors and before they died by the British. 12 had their homes ransacked, burned. 2 lost sons serving in the Revolutionary War. Another had 2 sons captured. 9 of the 56 fought and died from wounds in the Revolutionary War. 24 were lawyers and juries, 11 were merchants, 9 were farmers, large plantation owners, men of means, and well-educated. But they signed the Declaration of Independence knowing full well that the penalty would be death. And they give stories here, and I'm not going to go all the details about all of the ones that lost their farms, lost their homes, lost their families. But they stood up. They had to stand up. I admire you for standing up today. I'm not going to sit up here and knock every congressman, every senator. I'm simply saying we should contact them. We should let them know how we feel. You can write them. You can call them. You can email them. It doesn't even cost you a postage stamp. And just as those people stood up in the Declaration of Independence, you're standing up today and saying that you don't like the way Washington's going. Most of our problems are in Washington. And let's simply take a stand. Let's write letters to our congressmen. Let's write letters to our senators. Let's let them know how we feel. Let them know that we want to see some changes. And that will help them have the courage to stand up. I know I've gone on too long, and I'm going to close with one last quote by Jefferson. This is not exactly what he said, but it's close to it. Beware of any government that promises you everything, for that government can also take away everything.